Hello, I'm the Angry Spork. Previously, I touched on Malibu Comics and their eventual acquisition by Marvel, leading to special crossovers between the characters, like Nightman and Wolverine from last week. And while Logan doesn't feature in today's comic, it is kinda connected to him. Like a lot of X-Men stuff. In issue 93 of the Knucklehead solo title, Juggernaut started running amok, and while Wolverine and a couple teammates were after him, they lost his trio briefly enough for a pair of unseen figures to transport him away. Old Kane Marco hurtled through a world between worlds before landing in the Ultraverse, in all-new Exiles Infinity, one of several Infinity issues at the time, when Marvel was trying to revamp Malibu's more popular characters. And usually I might want to review that comic before this one for greater context. But I figure, heck, why not experience from the X-Men's perspective so no one knows what's going on? I'm taking issue with the all-new Exiles versus X-Men, so let's see if this comic makes us want to turn the page, or turn our heads. The cover is something I recognized from ads in other comics I was reading at the time, though I didn't know any of the finer details just yet. Storm, Beast, Iceman, Rogue, and Gambit all standing in front of a wall with various flyers on it, including a poster with their impending opponents. It's fairly reminiscent of that famous Days of Future Past image, but this doesn't seem to be a wanted poster. It just has headshots and no other context. Almost looks like an album cover. The all-new Exiles featuring Juggernaut tonight at the Pepsi Center, sponsored by Geico. Though a couple oddities. One, Hank looks kind of irritated for some reason. Maybe his briefs are riding up. 2, I always thought Gambit should be in back, because then we'd get more Rogue. And 3, both she and Storm have their sleeves rolled up. It looks fine, a neat little change-up, but it makes very little sense for the woman that can drain someone's life force with skin contact. But, moving on. Written by Terry Kavanagh, with art by Ken Lashley, Tom Wiggerson, sorry if I mispronounced that, and Shannon Blanchard, we begin the story Crossover, or X-Over, whichever you like, with Professor X looking like he's in serious pain. Little-known side effect of prolonged use of Cerebro: intense ice cream headaches. Charles Xavier is a man with a plan. No one expected CBS to replace Matt LeBlanc so suddenly. Maybe they thought they were getting Patrick Stewart. Actually, narration is talking about his dream of peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans. Although his students share that worthy goal, so many more fear and oppose it, darkening his dream, coloring his every waking nightmare. They also refuse to stay inside the lines and keep miscoloring things. Cats can't be part red, part purple, and part aquamarine, Susie. Chuck is trying to locate his behemoth stepbrother Kane to no success, and the strain is so great that Jean Grey rushes in and disconnects him. She notes that with its Shi'ar upgrades, there's no chance of any mind evading Cerebro scan. At least, not one that's alive. He doesn't think Marco's dead, figuring he would have sensed him passing away on some level, and won't rest until he's located. Last I checked, that big honkin' helmet psychically shields Marco, so I'm not sure how Xavier would have felt anything. Anyway, Jean says the X-Men will find Kane for him, and the group from the cover head out in the Blackbird, while an associate of theirs, Gateway, sits on the wing. Geez, economy class is getting rougher and rougher these days. If you're unfamiliar with him, Gateway is a native of Australia that has been an ally to the X-Men for years, helping them out in a kind of mysterious, sagely way, never speaking and kind of coming and going as he sees fit. His mutant power is generating portals by spinning his bull roarer, which he demonstrates as he apparently locks on to Juggernaut's trail, though he must have some kind of magnetic posterior and skin of Teflon to stay still on the wing of an active jet.
Not scientifically possible!
The X-Men enter the rift, and we jump to another 2-page spread. Juggernaut is with 2 other antagonists from his native reality, Sienna Blaze, who can absorb electromagnetic energy and discharge it in destructive blasts, and Reaper, who apparently has some metamorphic abilities and bionic enhancements, even though right now he looks like someone's edgy mashup of Jack Frost and the Grim Reaper. The 3 are in the Ultraverse version of New York, for which they place blame on the discount Firestar heir Amber Hunt, and demand to be returned to their proper Earth. Amber's cohorts, Shuriken and Strike, need her help to root out what's caused the destruction around them. As Kane gets Sienna to back off, Amber then projects holograms of their past trials, including the 6 of them ending up on something called Gamer World, a red vortex somehow connected to Blaze and Amber, fighting dinosaurs and generally needing to work together to survive. Eventually they were all dropped back on Ultraverse Earth, apparently surrounded by tanks and news vans, and somehow escaped to have this little spat. Essentially, the girl with flames for hair showed them a previously on segment of trials they are all aware of and were present for. It works to clue in the reader of what happened, but in the story just seems a little weird, I'd imagine. But I guess it works, since they aren't at each other's throats anymore. But half of them still have a different Earth to get back to. Look to the skies first, clown. Sky clowns? Where? The Blackbird has made it through the portal, set on autopilot, and Gateway is cool just chilling on the wing. Since none of that could possibly draw any attention, the team jumps down to search for their teacher's errant sibling. Juggy's as good as ours.
Phrasing?
At first curious that Gateway transported them to Manhattan, it's clear this isn't the Big Apple they're used to, as the Exiles make themselves known. Ain't Kansas neither, X-Men. Nobody clicks their heels to go home again. Kane Marco, unstoppable juggernaut, ruthless powerhouse, Judy Garland film enthusiast. Sienna launches a first strike, leading to an all-out fight, with an implication that mutant powers aren't quite as potent in the Ultraverse. Iceman figures any friends of Reapers are fair game. Hey, assuming that the other 3 are villains is just prejudiced, Bobby. You're getting such a talking to from the professor when you get home. And on a splash page, Strike warns the strangers to back off. Exiles defend their own, while he ineffectively shoots Rogue. Another couple of inches and that projectile would probably qualify for a sexual harassment suit. Otherwise, the shot looks really cool overall. 2 opposing sides attacking each other in a kind of stalemate. Remove the dialogue and you got yourself a nice poster here. Juggernaut has an idea. Figuring that Blaze's electromagnetic powers let her fly, she can pilot the Blackbird and take them home. Though Gambit would sooner destroy their ride than let that happen.
I don't care how many stewardesses you've bagged. You're a lousy pilot.
Reaper options to let both teams fight among themselves and heads for the still open portal solo. Gateway senses this and intends on closing the portal, but when he tries, it results in an explosion, like a shaken-up bottle of cherry soda was just opened up. The plane is tossed out to sea off-panel, as indicated by Storm as she cushions Gateway's fall, and something seems to be emerging from the rift. It's causing high winds and increasing temperatures, as well as a noise that isn't indicated in any sound effect. I guess someone mentioning it is dramatic too. Anyway, Juggernaut is ready and raring to face whatever is coming through. And that's when a giant demonic face pokes through.
Hello, I'm going around the neighborhood, asking people if they'd like free estimates on new windows for their homes.
Amber seems to recognize the creature as a firewalker, though I think it looks like the Spawn villain Violator if you got a hold of the mask, but what do I know? Whatever it is, it has Reaper.
It's cooking me alive! The pain is unbearable, but I smell surprisingly delicious. I think it added some herbs and spices.
Both teams charge to confront the creature as it swallows Reaper whole, with Juggernaut going in after. With everyone's powers diminished, and this new foe seeming to get bigger and opening the portal further, Iceman stands the best chance of recovering their consumed exiles. Which Beast says rather oddly to Shuriken, adding that the rest of the team need to help some spontaneous pedestrians caught in the danger zone. A noble effort, Blue Beast, doomed to failure, unless we stop the demon before it comes all the way through.
Blue Boy, get those doors open!
My name is Mr. McCoy, madam, not Blue Boy.
Gambit notes how the thing grew stronger after noshing on the exiles, Kane and Reaper, but not Bobby, seeming only to feed on the other 2. Amber tries telling them something. I'm guessing she just has communication issues, but it's not explained. So to help expedite her message, Rogue does a wee bit of absorbing, gaining enough knowledge of the last passage to say that the monster was born of the exiles and now lives on them, soon to destroy everyone. Strike has no clue what she's talking about, only caring if there's a chance to retrieve his people, so fires a big old blast to the roof of the thing's mouth, intending to head in after them. The monster is going to have a very weird story to tell its dentist on its next visit. However, on the next page, Bobby, Kane, and Reaper have escaped, their way out illuminated by Strike's flare line. So if Strike didn't go inside, why is he on Juggernaut's back as they ice slide their way out? What crazy page progression is this? Anyway, without the Exiles and their nougaty exile center, the creature has reduced in size, enough to be forced back into the fissure. Gateway starts spinning his bola to close the portal, just as the creature utters the word, Mother! He never calls, he never writes, he never brings members of an obscure team of misfits home for dinner, but he's trying, dagnabbit! It seems the monster is still waiting in the world between worlds, intent on feeding exclusively on Exiles for whatever reason, and that means Sienna, Reaper, and Marco are stuck on this Earth for now, unable to join the X-Men. Still, their teammates will find a way to get them to their proper reality, while investigating the destruction that befell New York in their absence. You know, before the giant face monster showed up. And I guess they managed to fish the Blackbird out of the water, because on the final page, the jet roars again above the School for the Gifted, and soon the team report to their mentor. He ain't even mad that they couldn't bring his stepbro back, since they did save another Earth, and maybe their own too. The comic ends with Storm adding that when things got nasty, Juggernaut stood by the X-Men to face the monster, showing he's capable of change. And if he ever makes it back to his native reality, he may just surprise Charles. Who knows, maybe he'll even join the X-Men, and not betray them. Nah. That was the all-new Exiles vs. X-Men, and it wasn't great, but nor was it entirely bad. The flashbacks provided by Amber are a little clunky, but at least they give you some idea of what the group has gone through. Not enough context, if you ask me, for Marco's heroics, since it seems they were abducted for some specific reason, forced to work together, then dropped back on Ultraverse Earth. Kinda makes Strike's determination to rescue his comrades seem a little unearned, but maybe the Infinity issue would clue us in. Though, as crossovers between heroic teams of different realities go, this had a unique detail in that half the Exiles are known villains to the X-Men, so it's kind of understandable that they would clash. But we don't get much on Strike, Amber, or Shuriken in terms of personality, or what supposedly makes them heroic. It's also pretty short, in part because of several two-page spreads, and in part because of some things being glazed over or explained quickly. On one hand, it feels like there's little time to breathe or let tension or drama really sink in, but on the other, this might keep it from dragging on longer than necessary and thus becoming a slog. I thought the art was pretty good. Striking colors, good shading, not much to complain about there. Overall, it's not the worst I've read, but I just didn't feel very invested. At best, it gives a glimmer of humanity in Kane Marco that maybe he's got some decency to him that would show up many years after this. I'll admit some of the lost context is because I didn't read the Exiles Infinity issue, but even so, this did feel kinda glib in terms of its pacing. I did sorta like it better than The Nightman vs. Wolverine, but I wouldn't say that it's that much better. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.